Hello planet, it's me, Maronic90, which you probably knew if you looked at the channel title. So, not too long ago, last DLC for the most ambitious gaming crossover known as Smash Ultimate was released in form of Sora from Kingdom Hearts, who on top of couple lackluster entries was godsend. Since we are still high on Smash hype and the support for the game has finally ended, I think it's high time that I redo my outdated top 10 canonically strongest Smash Bros. Characters, this time by including all the DLC characters in the final game. But why stop there, I asked myself. And not to brag or anything, but I have in fact been doing quite extensive research on all the characters in Smash Ultimate, which includes every Smash character ever. So why not take the opportunity and count down every single character ever in one huge ass power scaling video? That's right, everyone is here. Yay! So, this video will be me power scaling all the 80 plus playable characters from weakest to strongest. Oh boy, this is gonna be fun. Here are all the rules I'll be abiding by in this video. 1. All characters will be peak conditions of the version of their appearance in Smash. For example, Smash uses main canon Mario, which includes his appearances in main series platformers and spin-offs, but not different universes like Paper Mario or cartoon continuities. Link, who is from Breath of the Wild, will have his best stuff from that incarnation, but has no access to, say, stuff he has in Skyward Sword or something. As exception for Pokemon, I'll use feats that are most consistent between their games, manga, and anime appearances due to their most concrete scaling coming from outside the games. 2. Only consistent feats and scaling will be used. I'll talk about what I consider an outlier when we get to them, but don't accept crazy multiversal Pikachu or anything. 3. No Smash only canon, so you can forget about the self-contradicting trailers and other shit. I don't want to hear any of that. These are just the characters from their own canon series, and that's it. Mii fighters will be excluded due to lack of concrete scaling, and any alternate costumes like Koopalings will not be included, nor alter egos of other characters like Sheik or Dr. Mario. That being said, this list isn't absolute, and I too am a fallible human being, so I'm open to discussion and alternate scaling, so if you disagree or need further clarification on my reasonings, we can talk about that down in the comments. Also, be mindful of the time codes in the description, if you want to shorten the video to, say, top 50 or 20 or something. Alright, I hope you enjoy. Strap in and let's go. Kicking things off, we have the weakest of the weak, bottom of the barrel of the bunch, the scrub lord himself, Olimar. Like, dude, Olimar can beat up giant monsters and all, but when put on perspective with his impressive size of 2 centimeters, those gargantuan beasts are the size of a pineapple. I mean, sure, his spaceship has faster-than-light capabilities and cannon that can apparently blow up stars, but the thing is, his own speed and strength would be way below even normal human level, so he'd just get blitzed and one-shot by everyone who is normal size. Even if we use Olimar with the same size that he is in the Smash series, he's never demonstrated any notable speed relative to his size, and his Pikmin can only deal minor damage that is meant to stack up over time to his foes who are not that much more durable than him. I only see him getting past first 2 or 5 people in this list if he has his Smash size and starts in his spaceship. Sure, he has a couple of hexes that could easily win his battles, but he's so physically weak, he'd just get beat up if he starts outside of his ship. Not to harp on Pikmin series or anything, but Olimar's just way too tiny and fragile to get any of his abilities off before he'd be stepped on or swatted away by anyone on this list. That's all. I don't think anyone's too surprised that Wii Fit Trainer is this low. Lacking in feats, they are proven peak human on most areas, which isn't much compared to other characters. If we take into account her final smash, maybe she could be higher, but its attack potency is unknown. Sitting at number 80 and 79 respectively, we have the Animal Crossing characters. While they have many versatile items that could help them in battles, they aren't physically too impressive, clocking in at wall level by consistently destroying boulders and cleaving trees with few swings of an axe. Granted, Villager could potentially go higher, as in Animal Crossing New Leaf they have access to Wario's Nintendo items and paraphernalia as decorations, which include the Triforce from Zelda series. It's also probably the real Triforce, considering that the other crossover items like Super Mushroom have had their powers in the series, so Universal Villager confirmed.
Oh my god!
Well, the problem with that is that he still has too low physical stats to actually be able to use it in battle. He'd be blitzed by anyone above supersonic ranges, and that'd be the end of that, even if it's the actual Triforce. Next fodder. Beating the last two contestants by hair's breadth, we have Annoying Dog, Duck Duo, or technically Trio?
They're actually a trio.
The gunman is also there, so I guess we count them. If we allow the three to act as one character, they should be stronger than peak humans like Wii Fit and Animal Crossing characters due to having access to hunting rifle, multiple wild gunmen, and explosives that would place them at high wall level. While they're all normal human in speed, after pulling the trigger, their attack speed surpasses all below them. And even if previous entries are a little bit faster, it's not by so much that like 6 people wielding guns couldn't tag and one-shot them. Kinda feels like cheating treating them as one character. It's what it is.
What? Mr. Giganwash is fodder! He's only two-dimensional, being weaker than a strand of paper! Yeah.
I hear you, I really do, but you forgot that despite his 2D existence, Game & Watch has shown capability to interact with 3D objects. It's not even that unusual for a fictional character to be on a higher tier of power than their dimensional existence. 3D people have 4th-dimensional teleportation all the time, for example. So, by actual feats, the best argument for Game & Watch is his octopus form. In original Game & Watch Octopus game, which is implied to have sunken a pirate ship, making it about building level in strength, which it would be by sheer size as well. For speed, he's at least peak human or slightly above, being able to react to dozens of people falling back to back in Game & Watch Firefighter game and move multiple meters to catch them, among other similar feats. His octo form could most likely take many shots from the wild gunmen and overwhelm them due to its size and speed. Also, just turning sideways could be interesting hack he could use to avoid damage, but since he's consistently shown to be interactable by 3D beings, I don't think it's viable. Next.
Again with the weakest characters? Rob is a goddamn toy, a piece of plastic that doesn't have any powers.
Well, kinda, but not really. He has no feats as toy, but you forget that Rob has also appeared in video games. While he doesn't have much canon material to draw from, he has showcased the use of powerful laser beams and flight, among other things, in Smash. Yeah, I said I wasn't gonna use Smash info, but let's give a Rob a break here. Otherwise, he is literally useless. He is fast enough to react to and blast away multiple targets, which leads me to believe he could easily one-shot each member of Duck Hunt Duo, Trio, Gunman Gang before they could harm him, those beams being potentially lightspeed lasers. He's also shown to be capable of creating beams so large that its energy output should at least be on building level.
Oh yeah, he also appeared in Mario Kart DS, so I guess there are arguments of him scaling them, but I will not use those feats. Fuck it.
So, respect Rob and don't treat him like a piece of plastic. At number 75 corner, we have our wizard from Bronx, small yet packs a punch, Little Mac. He has demonstrated to be able to take hits from and even defeat boxers with small building level feats like Mr. Sandman, Don Flamenco, and others, and he can even surpass that level of power with his Star Uppercut or Gigamac transformation from Smash that makes him unquantifiably stronger. He's fast enough to keep up with subsonic targets like Piston Hondo and skilled enough to defeat dozens of boxers more experienced. And hey, he even fought Donkey Kong, though I'd say scaling to him would be a huge outlier considering how punching balls and buildings is considered impressive in the verse. The apprentice of Ramen Guy from Naruto, Min Min mainly scales off of other ARMS characters, them being noted to be generally on the same level. This puts her at building level strength and durability, as well as subsonic speeds, while Mechanica making a crater and them all dodging missiles, so I'd say she's above Little Mac due to about equal stats, but her having better reach, better versatility, and her speed likely being lowballed. Wow, almost all the retro characters have cramped below top 70. Ice climbers make it this high due to being able to summon and hit people with a small mountain, as well as defeat polar bears that can make mountains sink by stomping ground. They are also a lot faster than previous entries due to them regularly climbing up entire mountains in few minutes to even seconds, which average humans with best equipment and skill need hours or even days for to do the same. Though granted, this might just be their skill as climbers, but judging how they mostly just do it by jumping and running, it would translate to at least superhuman speed. They might be slower than people below them, but their AP and durability overshine them. Hi guys!
Wait, what the fuck? Steve is multiversal, omnipotent, supreme being that screams to the piece of text at the end of Minecraft. You suck!
No. That text is not referring to the character Steve, but to the player starting the game and creating the world, not Steve building houses in it or some shit. The actual character in Minecraft, Steve, is not too impressive, scaling to the Wither and Ender Dragon, who in particular can vaporize 208 cubic meters of irons in a single blow, small town level, as well as scales to Enderman and Skeleton, who can casually dodge arrows. Otherwise, he's a pretty good boy. If you want me to talk about the metafictional aspects of Minecraft, how about you wait till the player comes to Smash and hits people with a dialogue box as their final smash? Anyways, next. Sadly, Banjo and Kazooie only managed to reach top 70. They have a bunch of feats that place them at multi-city block to even town level, such as tanking hits and defeating Gruntilda, who could accidentally one-shot her giant robot Hag-1, capable of creating at least magnitude 5 earthquakes, as well as tank a crash from end of the first game. Banjo and Kazooie themselves also took hits from a huge dinosaur that could be highballed to small city level. They've showcased subsonic movement and reaction speed by using turbo trainers that can run on water, and by summoning the mighty Jinjo Nader, they could one-shot Grunty's shield that made her impervious to Banjo's and Kazooie's own attacks that could damage her durability. So it's at least 5 times multiplier to the base town level. So their AP and durability are much too high for characters below them to damage, even if they are slower. Inklings are a little bit stronger than many would accept. While their weapons are not meant to do damage, Killer Whale was still able to overpower Commander Tartar's cannon that was gonna destroy the city of Inkopolis. Granted, it was boosted by Pearl's singing voice, but even if Killer Whale was half city busting, it would still be way above anything any previous entry can do. Inklings also reach faster than sound rating due to them reacting to blasts from their own weapons that are clocked at subsonic, as well as Killer Whale that is literally super sound waves.
Metal Gear Awesome 2! Ugh!
Sitting at that magical number, we have Solid Snake himself. Snake in Smash is based on his appearance in Metal Gear Solid 2, but as per this video's rules, his kit from all the sources canon that appearance is usable. Snake scales off of Big Boss, being at least stated to be comparable. Big Boss, who could force back 100,000 ton mechs and react to Volgin's lightning, and beat Ocelot, who could shoot Volgin's electricity beams out of the air. Snake himself could defeat Wamp, who physically beat the shit out of Cyborg Raiden, who has multiple multi-city block feats, like holding back Outer Heaven, etc. Cyborg Raiden himself noted Snake in his prime was unstoppable, possibly implying that our Metal Gear splitting nanomachine pawning Jack the Ripper imitator is weaker than Snake.
Possibly.
Snake also has a lot of exotic hexes and skills that have allowed him to defeat people far more capable of killing him than he is of them. But in short, Metal Gear is heavily underrated and hexed.
Wait, what? Captain Falcon is universal for a Falcon Punch in the galaxy. How is he below Fox or Pikachu? He's the only one who's fought Ultra Instinct Shaggy to a standstill, and he defeated Lord Gaiman.
I understand, Captain Falcon is pretty hype, but unfortunately that's all he is, hype. Look, I've watched every single episode of Densetsu no Falcon,
And I can say that it was worth it just for that final episode.
and people usually take the feats of this show way out of context, and yes, it is canon to the games, nothing says it isn't, shut up. First off, the explosion that could be seen from the galaxy was not because of Falcon Punch, but the explosion of Dark Matter Reactor powered by reactor mines. Secondly, people usually try to scale Captain Falcon to multi-galactic via the reactor might he possesses, as all 5 of them combined could shrink the universe over time and then recreate it. And Black Shadow and Falcon himself scaled them via Black Shadow null-setting Zoda wielding one and straight up overpowering one. But here's the thing, the universal stuff only applies to all 5 of them together and when put into the dark matter reactor. Consistently, alone the reactor might have shown mountain level feats as seen by Black Shadow destroying one and Base Zoda tanking huge explosion and then considering himself hundreds of times better when fused with reactor might. So, no. For speed, all the F-Zero pilots are capable of achieving Mach 2 speeds, so Falcon's Blue Falcon with its reactor might should be multiple times faster, and he can react to things while driving that fast, so lower echelon of hypersonic is good estimate, but there's also feats of him outracing explosions that would make him high hypersonic. And I guess there's that feat of Falcon beating the creators of universe in race, so scaling is wacky as hell. Placing surprisingly low, we have our trucker hat wearing drummer Terry Bogard. From what I could glean from my extensive research, King of Fighters / Fatal Fury tends to place lower than other fighting game franchises, and it shows. Best consistent scaling for Terry I could find being him placing above people capable of blocking the Zero Cannon's city busting beam and versus Storm Creation, placing him at city ranges of power and durability. As for speed, he scales to relativistic while being superior to people reacting to Zero Cannon's beam cocked at Mach 800 and Orochi's Desperation move which uses light. There's also character Mature who also uses light. And that's about it. Yeah, sorry. I cannot find anything better for the guy. I mean, maybe there's some crossover stuff, but shit if I know if those apply. I'll let you all explain it to me in the comments. So Lucas, this character was extremely hard for me to place, and I'm still not 100% sold on where he ended up. Like, there's a lot of weird ways to scale him, and finding out which is the consistent one isn't easy. He has scaling above the likes of Thunder and Storm, who have storm creation feats on town to city level, and has defeated far superior foes like Porky Statue, dodged few light beams, and has good abilities, but that's about it when looking his performance on his own game. But there might actually be valid ways to scale him to Ness. Or not? It all depends on how relative Ness's party, Paula, Jeff and Pooh, are in comparison to Ness. And then you say that Lucas could be on that same tier, since his power is natural like theirs too, or depending on how strong Porky is in comparison. His fight with Ness and his party was interrupted, and he had help from Gigas. Yes, that's apparently the correct pronunciation. So, I don't know if he scales, but that same Porky with far superior tech fights Lucas and his party, so I don't know. I'll just place him at city level, and you can move him up in your mind if you think Lucas or Porky are relative to the people who may or may not scale the universal Ness. I mean, they were there helping him, but... So, Pokemon scaling. As I've already made clear, I'll be using all Pokemon media to scale them, due to games lacking concrete feats and scaling for most of the cast. Okay, we all got that? Next, you're probably wondering why I ranked them all on same spot. Well, the thing is that all the non-legendary Pokemon tend to scale the same shit, as they regularly have pitched fights, the trainers usually making the difference. I know that the AP is all over the place with these little f***ers, but most consistently, standard Pokemon tend to scale to mountain to multi-mountain ranges, with Pokédexes stating such for Tyranitar, Gyarados, Machamp, Diglett's Earthquakes, Hyper Beam reducing large cities into craters, or anime having megaton range feats like Lucario locking half island wide explosion, and couple of others that should scale directly to the fully evolved Pokemon. For durability, they regularly take attacks from each other, and for speed, well, relativistic to light speed. I mean, no kidding, it's been consistent since fucking 90s. Like, we have Pokemon in every single media, react to and dodge Solar Beam, Diglets rising from ground at light speed, the fucking Diglett again, and other light-based moves. Not to mention quick attack and other statistic amplifications that make them even faster. Now obviously there's hell of a lot inconsistent shit, like standard Pokemon getting pwned by rock slides and sometimes combating universe-ending legendaries, but this is the most consistent spot I could find among the 300 plus feats I was comparing. Don't worry, we'll talk about crazier stuff done by legendary Pokemon later. I'd like to go on a record that these pictures aren't necessarily in order, but arranged to how they'd more or less compare. Pichu and Squirtle are first evolutions, Jiggly, Ivy and Pikachu are second, though Pikachu is consistently given better feats due to being serious mascot. Charizard, Greninja and Incineroar are all last evolutions of starters, and Lucario in all forms of media tends to be on upper echelon of last evolutions, but the order could very well change depending on all sorts of factors, so it's not definitive.
Hold everything! Isn't Pac-Man the planet? I seen him go planet. Why is he so low?
Well, mainly because 1. That is Pac-Man from Pac-Man and the Ghostly Adventures, and 2. That is not the same as mainline Pac-Man. In main games, he showcased much fewer power-ups and scaling, his most important feats being the defeat of Spooky in Pac-Land 2, a creature who was gonna destroy all of Pac-Land, which is at best small country level, and scaling to Miss Pac-Man, who's dodged electricity and lightning. I'm sorry, but the yellow pellet muncher falls way short compared to rest of the famous mascot characters. Well, can harm ghosts, so maybe he could punch your soul out or something? Okay, I admit it, I know next to nothing about Fire Emblem scaling, and this fucking mess called the internet can't seem to be able to provide me with well-documented scaling for the series. But what I do know about coring is that, well, they're just the worst. Compared to all other Fire Emblem lords, they have least impressive feats and hype about them, as well as are, well, really stupid. Let's see, they can transform into a deer Jesus thingy that has nothing impressive stated about it, and apparently, according to Fire Emblem Warriors, is vaguely weaker than Tiki's similar dragon form that's apparently relative to Medeus, who could wipe away countries and threaten the world in relatively short time, which would place it closer to continental ranges. But there's also that weird black hole looking thing that some douchebag used during the end portion of Fire Emblem Fates. I mean, it was only destroying an island, which in on itself was cocked at city level. But maybe it could be argued to have AP of a black hole, but not the range of one? Oh wait, no, it's revealed to be just a portal to another place, so coring scaling to it would at best be on city ranges. I don't know, let's scale them to Tiki and just move on with our lives. Oh, and for speed, all Fire Emblem characters are casually dodging lightning, making them hypersonic. And just a heads up, as we head deeper in the Fire Emblem section of this list, it is true that Pokemon are at least 2,000 times faster and could speed blitz them to hell and back, but the thing is, they wouldn't really be able to harm them in any meaningful way, as Fire Emblem characters are approximately 2,000 times stronger and more durable, and almost just as hexed, with far superior stamina. What? You thought that the Fire Emblem characters...
They all have swords and are generally pretty good at fighting.
No! This series some anime shit. Up next are the mid-tier Fire Emblem characters that can be switched around because they're all pretty relative. Lucina is probably at the bottom considering the narrative of her looking up to Marth as this legendary guy, but she is also shown to be relative to Chrom, and Robin should be above Chrom pretty consistently. So literally every one of these characters and their secret relatives should be far faster than lightning and have multi-country/continental scaling off of the dragons they fight, such as Marth defeating Medeus, who was able to raise countries and threaten the world, or by Chrom fighting Grima, who could ravage the continents, and Robin just outright killed him, among other feats. Oh, by the way, if we used Tokyo Mirage Session versions of the characters, I don't know what that would do for the scaling actually. Maybe Marth would scale above Super Saiyan God Goku's and Beerus' multi-universal clash in his Super Saiyan Blue form, but that's neither here nor there. For high-tier Fire Emblem boys, we have Roy and Ike sitting at high-end multi-continental, a tiny bit above other Fire Emblem characters. So, Roy has his famous shaking the continent feat, and his sword scales above divine weapons capable of causing and ending the phenomenon of ending winter that altered the laws of nature and weather across the planet. And Ike, oh boy, you all thought he was OP in Brawl. Ike fought and defeated Goddess Ashera, a half of goddess who created all the continents in the world of Fire Emblem Radiant, so she would logically wield half of the power that created and could be used to destroy every single continent. Her life-wiping flood is also called at worst 25.67 petatons, multi-continental, and Ike fought half of that. Granted, Ike needed a little bit help from Ashera's other half, Yuna, and his friends, who he fights for, who at best as a group hold a candle to him, so he could actually just be a fourth of the Ashunera calc at worst, still keeping him around Roy, but arguably higher and above the rest of the Fire Emblem cast. But one is easily superior. Sitting comfortably above all other Fire Emblem protagonists, Byleth scales to similar ridiculous country and continent busting feats, defeating the Immaculate One, fucking really? Who, while weakened, could tank and destroy javelins of light that are basically nukes that are stated to destroy countries in at least 4 separate occasions, and they also fused with Sathis, you know, the green-haired lolly, who also tanked a javelin when country of Thinis was destroyed, and at peak of her power was able to alter the face of the entire planet, first via flood of despair, and then by healing the planet over a long period of time, similar to Ashunera's feats actually. Granted, the javelins of light are pretty inconsistent in the game, but via Sathis, Byleth scaling to multi-continental is still viable, and also Immaculate One is just stated to be a threat to the entire continent and the world over time. The main reason for Byleth placing above the rest of the Fire Emblem cast is however due to the tremendous speed advantage they hold, reaching light speed via dodging spells like Hoarfrost that are just straight up light. While about as strong as rest of the characters, they are massively faster, also with far better hacks, like being able to resurrect 14 times via Divine Pulse and prevent counterattacks or movement. Admittedly, Fire Emblem scaling is wonky. There's all sorts of arguable stuff like dragons having their own pocket dimensions and such, but this is where I'd place them due to consistent feats. Finally, something less Fire Emblem related, we have even more infuriating addition to the roster. Kazuya also scales to multi-continent level quite comfortably via multiple feats such as beating characters like Heihachi, who took down 6 gunjack models while just one had the power to destroy a giant meteor, a feat clocked at 7.7 gigatons, as well as being directly comparable to his son Jin, who defeated Azazel, who was stated to wipe out all life on Earth whenever he pleased. Apparently, his devil form is stated to be 10 times multiplier. I couldn't find the scan, but if that's true, that would mean the base Kazuya being relative to Heihachi in base, and base Jin being able to fight Azazel should put them from base life wipe of Azazel, approximately 183 petatons, to 1.83 exatons, higher echelon of multi-continental. For speed, his devil form laser beam is calced at 20% of light speed, with characters like Heihachi reacting to them and base Kazuya being more or less comparable, so you could use that to say True Devil Kazuya is at least 2 times faster than light. And that's all I'll talk about this goddamn asshole. Next!
Street Fighter characters this high, they suck and their best feats are island level. Yeah.
I see that you disagree, but hear me out. While the games have great display of feats, such as Akuma casually destroying islands, or some of Ryu's Dark Hado vaporizing a city, Wario's other medias consistently depicting the game's stories further emphasize how casual these feats are. And yes, I'm using the comics as canon, end of discussion. Here, Shin Akuma, aka Akuma, who doesn't hold back, is shown one-shotting a meteor the size of small continents. Even just 96 kilometers wide meteors have the energy to wipe out all life on Earth, aka that 186 petatons, while the smallest continent is over 40 times larger. Another feat of similar caliber is when the Illuminati man, Jill, casually destroys another meteor storm that was implied to life wipe the Earth as well. Both were casual feats that get shot on by Jill going full power, beating up Oni Akuma and Evil Ryu at the same time, both far stronger than Shin Akuma. Ryu is then able to foderize arguably even stronger Jill Jill, as he also took Alex's abilities by possessing him. This Ryu was using form called Shin Ryu, combination of dark power of Satsui no Hado and equally powerful light of nothingness, Muno Ken. He also completely beats the shit out of Oni Akuma. So yeah, Oni Akuma and Evil Ryu make the multi-continental Shin Akuma look like a weakling, and then are fodder to Jill when fighting together, and then Ryu fodderizes that guy as Shin Ryu. While Ken can't replicate these feats, he is equal to Ryu base to base, and can also utilize power of nothingness to an extent, so he'd loosely scale to Shin Akuma at least. For speed, we have light-based attacks like Jill's rainbows, Muno Ken using light, and Hagar moving at light speed, which Ryu would surpass multiple times as Shin Ryu. He can even get stronger by absorbing energy mid-fight or soul-crushing people with Shangoku Satsu, but I think I've talked about SF characters enough.
Oh, by the way, with crossovers, the cast just goes balls to the walls in Zen and solos or worse.
Star Fox cast places next, with Wolf on bottom and Falco and Fox superior to him. In base, they're not all that impressive, but with their higher weapons and R-wings, they do climb up to multi-continental to moon level, as they were capable of defeating Andros, who was powered by Krazoan spirits, who were able to reconstruct Saurai's planet, as well as withstanding a black hole levels of gravity, which, granted, them literally flying in and out of them seems to be outlier considering what R-wings usually get f***ed by. However, that would still translate to faster than light flight speed, to which Star Fox can react to. There's also other statements of R-wings being faster than light even without warp speed, but I couldn't find the scan. I don't play Star Fox. They place above Street Fighter characters mainly due to similar AP but far higher speed, not to mention flight advantage. Now we're getting to slightly bigger guns. The Legend of Zelda series sits surprisingly at the middle of the list. Zelda herself is normally the weakest of the bunch, the version used in Smash in particular, incredibly featless version from Link Between Worlds, but seeing that her physicals and magical capabilities scale similarly to Link from that game, like various versions of Zelda have in the past scaled to their own Links, she should be at least somewhere close to this tier of power. Each Link should be somewhat relative, though Toon is easily the weakest, only fighting Ganondorf's base form, whilst young Link's adult version fought the same Ganondorf in his Ganon Beast form, and he has become much more powerful than that adult version in Majora's Mask. Breath of the Wild, Link fought Calamity Ganon, which in its final form is implied to be not only the strongest incarnation of Ganon, but possibly the strongest villain in the series. Hyrule Warriors! Ganondorf is generally stronger than Link, the hero needing special armaments like Master Sword and light arrows to bypass his immortality. Now, on what level are these characters exactly? Bow and arrow level? Rock formation tier? While the power levels in the franchise are very inconsistent, with mountain and castle destruction aplenty considered impressive, most consistent stuff that is directly plot related comes from multiple life-wiping and world-ending statements from Wario's villains like Calamity Ganon, Maladus and Demise being able to destroy the world, placing the top tiers at this range. But then there are feats that can range from anywhere between small planet to small star level, with most mid-balls coming out at large planet, such as Ganon apparently stopping the planet from spinning in Wind Waker, and Calamity causing double blood moons in its very dwindled state in Breath of the Wild. That feat in particular is interesting, as Link scales above first form Ganon and arguably its last form, despite not being able to damage it. First form Ganon being more powerful than 4 Divine Beasts combined, which are specifically meant to defeat Ganon, making it possibly dozens of times stronger than its moon feat, which was just its energy leaching out beyond its seal. Majora's Mask also has clear multiplier, with it being able to overpower all 4 giants simultaneously, who could stop the life-wiping moon, and then Majora has 2 other forms that Link in Majora's Mask can practically one-shot with his fierce deity's mask, along with the moon, as seen in Hyrule Warriors. All the characters in the series should scale to faster than light, from Beamer's beams that function like light and various others, but Breath of the Wild is honestly way faster, becoming 10 to 20 times faster than Guardian Beam with his maximum bullet time. Keep in mind that all these feats were done without any potions armor that can amp Link stats at least twice over, like Bunny Hood, Magic Armor, Lon Lon Milk, Breath of the Wild Armors, or Fierce Deities Mask, or all that delicious food, so at least Link scales much higher than this. The series still has lot, and I do mean lot of more higher arguable stuff, unclear feats, misconceptions, and possible outliers that I'm not gonna touch on today for consistency's sake. Sitting at number 36 we have Mega Man, or Rockman, or Mr.
Now I've got your power!
Even putting aside all the Robot Master weapons that make him versatile and hexed as fuck, with elemental manipulation, shields, black hole creation and time stopping, he has multiple planetary feats, such as scaling off of Sunstar, who was said to be Planet Buster, the same guy who also had enough energy to blow up the Wily Star, a space station calculated to be around large planet, as well as Duo possessing similar lore and a feat of destroying Saturn's ring around at 11.5 ninatons. Megamix manga has technically even more of the same tier of feats to choose from, but it follows its own continuity. Check it out, it's really cool old school manga. What puts Mega Man above Zelda series of characters is not his nice hacks and power though, but far superior speed, with his feat of flying through our solar system's asteroid belt with Rush reacting to the rocks at his way at approximately 417 times light speed. He also scales to Duo, who flew through solar system while fighting in similar speeds, and Mega Man can also quadruple his speed with double gear system speed gear, which can logically be applied to AP via power gear. Man, thankfully it wasn't Mega Man X or .exe that showed up in Smash, otherwise this list would be very different. Moving past planet level, we've caught up to the contenders of my past list. Sitting at 35, we have Ridley, due to base Samus always beating him, then Dark Samus, who's Samus' equal, who only gets surpassed by Samus with her best armors and weapons, such as Light and PAD suits or Omega Cannon. Metroid series is no stranger to planetary feats, such as Talon Force fodder Metroids surviving Leviathan collision, or Samus blowing up Mother Brain's defense shield, which is directly superior to Kozo's planetary defense shield that needed planet-destroying micro-black hole to puncture it, and both of these feats among others were accomplished with most basic fodder like Samus' standard missiles that her other weapons are exponentially more powerful than. The real meat of Samus' AP comes from her stronger suits and weapons that place her to small star level, her having a feat of vaporizing planetary explosion tanking Dark Samus as well as absorbing and manipulating both dark and light either's energies cogged at 128 tenatons, as well as her Omega Cannon being able to destroy Gorea, who could eventually life-wipe entire galaxies, not to mention Hyper Mode and other hacks that further increase Samus' power. For speed, all of them scale the similar and FTL stuff off of Samus' gunship, which is fast enough to reach another galaxy at worst 3 weeks time, the same ship that Ridley is shown to be superior to by outspeeding it in Super Metroid and even tagging it mid-flight in multiple medias, the same Ridley that Samus always reacts to when he tries to ram his purple ass forward in combat. Gorea's galaxy-wide conquest also comes out at similar 10 million times FTL, so pretty fast boys and girls. And no, Game Samus is not universal. Metroid EX is not canon to the games, guys. There's 2 Metroid mangas, one's the canon prequel and other is EX. Get it right. Who knew that Kid Icarus was gonna be this high? Well, that's because Palutena is a god! Which is almost like saying that Kaioshin is top tier in the verse by being a god, despite his feats being crap. By actually scaling the franchise, it's easy to see how high into MFTO tier the characters are, with numerous feats placing their flight speed and reaction speed at 8 million times faster than light at highest, with Pit flying to another constellation, Palutena sending things to constellations, Pyrohan shoving Aurum's ass to other side of the galaxy, among others. But what about strength? A big rock level perhaps? Well, Hades is this big dude who literally controls and is one with the underworld, a realm that clearly contains numerous stars, as well as controlling and possibly creating a pocket dimension inside himself, Hades' belly, that is also filled with stars. Both of these realms making Hades at least dozens to even hundreds of times solar system level. Quite a leap compared to the previous characters. Palutena, Pit and Dark Pit directly scale to Hades, Palutena ruling Skyworld or Heavens, Underworld's counterpart, and is equal to Medusa, who also was considered ruler of Underworld, albeit she's much weaker than Hades. Also, Palutena is implied to be the creator of Skyworld, which contains at least sun, and she is superior to sun god Pyrrhon. Contrary to the popular belief, Pit is stronger than Palutena by defeating Medusa, who defeated her in Kid Icarus 1, and actually just straight up beat her in Uprisings chapter 20. Kinda. Dark Pit is shown to be his equal, but would fall short of Pit's strongest weapons, like Great Sacred Treasure, which gave Hades run for his money and even defeated him with the help of Palutena. There's other feats like Black Holes, but those don't do any damage, except for the ones Aurum has. But anyway, it's useless to talk about them anyway. Also, keep in mind that the realms in Kid Icarus might be full universes too, though this is not confirmed anywhere.
But wait, isn't Pit
The most powerful Nintendo character of all time.
Sure. Pretty boys of Final Fantasy VII have had a rocky history in versus debating community, with people arguing left and right if they're bullet level, lightning timers, or solar system destroying gods that can invalidate entire tier lists. However, there exists a consistent answer. Guys, Supernova is canon. It's f***ing confirmed by like 4 different things, that Sephiroth controls it and that it's real, stated to take place in alternate dimension in 3, and not once, count them, not once referred to as an illusion. That simply is just headcanon. Alright, now that that's out of the way, yes, it is consistent for Cloud and others to be on this level. The only reason Sephiroth needed the black materia to destroy the planet was because the planet in Final Fantasy pretty much scales above everything in the game, while a life stream continuously being referred to be beyond anything humans are capable of, which includes red access possible star level feat, Ultima weapons that could threaten Genova, who's known as Planet Destroyer. Lifestream is tough shit, fam. Not to mention that materia literally comes from Lifestream, and some summons have crazy feats of creating pocket dimensions full of stars, like Behemoth and Knights of the Round, all whom Cloud and Sephiroth should be superior to. Like, Supernova destroys a solar system. Very overpowered, very cool, but it doesn't stop there. There's multiple sources stating that it destroys the entire dimension it is fired in, and that realm is at least large enough to contain a galaxy. Knights of the Round have several. Just roll with it. Nothing new for RPG power progression. Oh yeah, and for speed, while getting blitzed by Kid Icarus crew, Cloud's and Sephi's best feats locking in at mere 15,000 times FTL, scaling off of Behemoth and Supernova, Icarus crew would have no way to harm them due to Cloud and Sephi literally surviving galactic spaces being destroyed, and have so many hexes that either counter their hexes or straight up ignore their durability. They wanted to create the strongest Pokemon, and they succeeded. At least among the playable cast of Smash anyway. Mewtwo places surprisingly high if we are to go by the rules established for Pokemon. In its base form, Mewtwo is already shown to contend with Plant Busters like Deoxys and Rayquaza, but when using its Mega Evolution, it could fight 50% form of Zygarde, at least for a time. Why is this important? Because Zygarde is a tough mofo, able to fight Ultra Necrozma when in its 100% form, and even defeat it with assistance of Solgaleo and Lunala, both who are weaker than base Necrozma. And Ultra Necrozma is hella strong. It could absorb and channel all the light in the universe of Ultra Space. That's almost universal levels of power, and let's say 100% Zygarde is about half of that, while 50% is half of that, and Mewtwo is about half of that. That makes Mewtwo almost 1/6 of universal power, which is massively multi-galactic. For speed, base Mewtwo scales to Deoxys' Delta Meteor, which Rayquaza, Deoxys' rival, could react to and tag, cogged at 900,000 times faster than light, crossing galaxy in 10 days, among other feats, but Mewtwo should logically scale to Solgaleo's and Lunala's feat of traversing ultra spaces nebulous at a tiny number of billion times faster than light, similar number given to Necrozma's absorption of our light. And also, so you know, no, Shadow Mewtwo is not natural transformation Mewtwo can obtain for himself, so it won't be used here. Next, let's finally jump to the universal and multi-universal level. Oh boy, Mario franchise. Let's see. Fuck. Like, where do I begin? So, thing with this spot is that pretty much the whole cast of mentionables in Mario scales to each other. Yes, even Donkey Kong franchise and Wario, for all of them have fought Bowser in one game or another, including Peach and Daisy, beating him on occasion, Yoshi, Luigi and Mario beating him regularly, even in his powered-up states. And we all know Mario is pretty much the Chuck Norris of Mushroom Kingdom, and Rosalina is nebulously in the same range due to scaling to Bowser's feats at the end of Mario Galaxy 1.
But she's a god!
That doesn't mean anything. So, the scaling. You know how in the past I've used to be a pretty strong advocate for solar system and black hole stuff being the most consistent for the franchise? Franchise that pretty much has every tier of feats available? No kidding, the universe to multi-universe scaling is the most consistent scaling for Mario, with most of the black hole and star feats either being super casual or performed as joke. So, Mario franchise's universal feats. Bowser, after getting the beating of his life from a plumber in Super Mario Galaxy 1, survives in the center of a galaxy generator supernova, which creates a black hole that is stated to destroy the universe. Rosalina shields Mario and Peach, so her magic scales, so do her Lumas that null the black hole. Bowser is never stated to have been shielded by her, and is flat out stated to have gone through a near-death experience instead, while massively weakened. All who scale to him scale. Bowser empowers himself with a Grand Star in Super Mario Galaxy 2. He should be way beyond his power in Mario Galaxy 1, as it was only one Grand Star that powered the galaxy generator. In the first game, Mario still reacts to him and fights him. In Mario Party 5, Bowser is stated to be able to destroy multiple dreams that throughout the franchise have been portrayed as universes, and one dream in particular in Mario Party 5 is just that out universe. In Mario & Luigi Dream Team, Mario and Luigi fight and defeat both Z-Keeper and Dreamy Bowser, who is powered by thousands of dreams. Seems like a lot, but there we go. Power Stars in Super Mario 64 are able to create entire worlds with suns and starry skies. It is nebulous if they are full-on universes, but there is more support for superior Grand Stars that everyone and their
Mama?
scales to. And lastly, there's a questionable feat of Wario and bunch of fodder, no-selling erasure of entire universe by Black Diamond. So, that's the gist of it. There are others and even more questionable ones, but this video is already longer than Marth's Dig Around Men, so for speed, I'll only briefly talk about the literal pile of MFTL feats in the series. The numbers are gonna get pretty absurd at this point, so watch out. Comet Observatory and Starship Mario are able to cross clusters of galaxies in few moments, same vehicles that Bowser tags before receiving any Grand Star amps and shoots them down with meteors, same ones that Mario can casually sidestep, which comes out quadrillions of times FTL. Bowser's Koopa Clown car and airships are shown to be able to fly to the deep space and other galaxies in short time, vehicles that literally everyone in their series has kept up with by running and fought them at the same speeds. Launch stars launch Mario from stationary Comet Observatory to at least 52 galaxies away in seconds, and he is still able to react in time to land, orbit stars flying by him at the same speed. Fucking everyone including fucking Toad fight and react to Millennium Star that can move from center of universe at approximately this fucking speed, I'm not saying that, by falling, not to mention scaling to the universe threatening things that can cross the entire universe in a short time span. So come at me. These feats were also just from the level of base Mario, not counting his OP power-ups and all the hacks he and others have access in RPGs. Sonic scales very close to Mario, and I mean very close. It's pretty funny how this rivalry could probably go either way, but in the end I decided to pot our hyperactive blue speedster a tiny peck above, simply because he has more arguments for questionably inconsistent higher scaling, and the questionable power-up of things like Super and Hyper Sonic. So, for power, Sonic also consistently scales to universal to multi-universal feats while a variety of things, well, I mean most consistently anyway. While mostly having feats of multi-solar system level in base, Sonic has shown to vaguely scale to universal destroyers, like Eraser Jin, who could make universe-containing stories of Arabian Nights disappear one after another, or Dark Queen, whom he took hits from, the same character that had the power to sustain the world of Camelot's story, aka its universe, eternally. In his super form, his power increases by so much that he can fight evenly with people who he wouldn't have a chance to even touch otherwise. While the exact amp is unknown, by feats he's fought with Egg Wizard, who wielded the jeweled scepter, drawing its power from the power of the stars, a force that sustains the existence of multiple universes, and was used by Eggman and Eggman Nega to merge Sonic's and Blaze's universes, though Super Sonic needed help of nearly as powerful Burning Blaze. A similar feat has two Super Sonics defeat Time Eater Salamander, a creature that could eat entire moments of time and space, which would erase numerous universes, Super Sonic being at least vaguely comparable to Darkspine Sonic, via 7 World Rings being alternate Chaos Emeralds of Arabian Nights, which allowed Sonic to defeat all of Layla or Layla, who could warp all the worlds of Arabian Nights, as well as Soul and Chaos Emeralds being able to merge 2 universes in Rush 1, the same ones that usually power the super forms. And then there's the highly outlandish feats, like battling Solaris, which I'll count as an outlier for this video, but that's more supporting evidence of super forms being above the destruction of single universe. As Sonic is known for his speed, surely he must have many feats with ridiculously long numbers attached. Well, surprisingly, apart from Super Sonic's scaling to trans-universal speed of his foes, the calcs for Sonic's speed feats aren't too crazy. There are the feats of all the characters reaching about 800 million times FTL by racing through star clusters, and ironically Super Sonic doing a similar feat in Advance 3, and Emerald absorbing power as well as speed of Final Egg Blaster, blowing up a star cluster in a second, coming out at approximately 900 million times FTL. Well, I guess there is this one really funny feat of Father's spaceships that definitely scale below the Emeralds, flying to the Wisp planet at the edge of the universe that has f***ed number attached to it, but that's about it. There is also questionable feat of Sonic running out of the multiverse of Arabian Nights, but we really don't know if he did this just via speed. So, all in all, the trans-universal feats of Egg Salamander, Wizard, and others affecting the universe in short time are the best feats. Otherwise, he'd be too slow. Getting crazy in here. In straight up multiversal / timeline busting tier, we have Castlevania characters. Look, for the longest time, I too regarded them as some decently strong whipping boys, but Jesus Christ, this series is OP shit. Dracula, in this franchise, as bad of a dad as he is hell of a strong, considered a counterbalancing opposite to God, who created the universe and all the other realms. One of his minions is literally embodiment of death. I mean, come on. For AP, every fighter in Castlevania, including f***ing Golem, can beat the shit out of Time Reaper, who could destroy entire era off of a timeline, but like I said, that's small beans compared to Dracula level characters. As a Dark Lord, Dracula's existence sustains Demon World, aka the Abyss, that is the realm of hell in the verse, which is superior to few random dimensions that are stated to hold infinite amount of monsters, and thus would logically be infinite 3D in size. And yes, Dark Lord does sustain the Abyss. When Soma Cruz defeats fake Dark Lord Menace, the Abyss collapses, along with Dracula's castle. Simon and Richter, while not as strong as Dracula, can keep up with him and kill him with the Vampire Killer. All the characters in the verse are also way beyond finite number of speed, the first one on the list consistently able to do so. Soma Cruz and Alucard are both able to run across the infinitely vast Abyss in limited time before it collapses, Richter being directly comparable to Alucard. Many fodder boss monsters even ignore time-stopping hacks with their sheer speed, also confirmed by fodder enemy called Skyfish still being able to move when time is stopped. Reaper is also stated to kill time and distance, making his speed at least inaccessible. So yeah, all these powerful characters get beat up by 2 guys with a whip. As for who's stronger between the 2 Belmonts, it's Richter. It just is. Dude is stated to be one of the stronger Belmonts, and Dracula supposedly gets stronger as the series progresses. So yeah. Of course, Ness is gonna be towards the top. I'ma stay brief on him because you all know about his scaling. Gigas, his final opponent, is described as the universal cosmic destroyer and threat capable of destroying all existence. To combat him, Ness becomes one with the power of the universe and is somewhat able to fight Gigas with his friends, despite of Gigas having become literal formless embodiment of evil that someone who has consciousness of the entire universe can't even comprehend. The universe in Earthbound being implied to be infinite. For speed, Ness is likely immeasurable, aka even above inaccessible speed, being somewhat on Gigas' level, whose powers could travel through time. Ness can also move while time is stopped by Dali's clock. There is higher potential scaling, like the cast's interactions with the player, but that's a video on its own. All I can say is respect the hell out of this baseball-wielding mad lad.
Looking cool, Joker!
For my whole life, I didn't even know Persona existed, but I do now, and others are starting to notice. So Joker, I'm not expert on persona scaling, but what I've gathered from various places, Joker easily belongs here, maybe even higher, as there are a lot of things that I'm not sure about. Joker is at least high multiversal, and there are a lot of arguments for infinite power by him being able to one-shot Yaldabaoth, being that could control collective unconscious, that is complicated multiverse-alike structure that transcends time and space, that is stated to be endless in size. With his friends, he even defeated stronger being Adam Cadmon, who is the logical conclusion of Spiral power outgrowing the universe and Spiral nemesis happening. Since time does not exist for the full scope of collective unconscious, characters who scale to it should have bare minimum inaccessible speed. He is also hexed as fuck, passively altering the very fate around him, ignoring conventional cause and effect, at least on the scale of collective unconscious, as per his status as a trickster, which is as OP of an ability as they come. And that's all I know. Sorry. Joker might honestly be deserving of much higher placement on the list, but I'm not 100% sure on all of his lore. If some of you peeps well versed in Shin Megami Tensei wares could help me out and argue if he scales to any higher, like if Persona series fully scales to SMT or something, I've seen conflicting views on that, I'd appreciate the help. There's a lot for me to learn here, like there are archetypal arguments, which while not necessarily evidence of ultraversal scaling, can lead to that. While technically the same character and a third one, I'll count them as separate spots on the list, as they have distinctly different abilities and personalities, but as both have the same scaling and can switch between the other, they are basically the same. Let's talk some Xenoblade. Or, more accurately, Xenoblade! So, I know there are those in the Versus community that claim that the architect from Xeno 2 is equal to Zanza, as he's his other half, but I honestly have never seen anything stating so. That would just make him equal to Zanza with one monado. However, the architect has his own crazy scaling. He draws his power from the conduit, gate to the infinite multiverse containing limitless power, which he used to create the Cloud Sea on Xeno 2's world, which is also stated to be endless. The conduit is implied to be a higher dimensional construct, but it can be scaled to 4D off of it, affecting the multiverse, which is 4th dimensional in Xeno series anyway, as it contains infinite amount of universes that are all infinite in size, while Cloud Sea and Boundless Ocean in Xeno 1. Malos, when using Artifice Ion, basically Super Gundam powered by the conduit, is also stated to be able to end all existence, which possibly means the multiverse. Pyra, Mithra, Numa, whoever, I don't care, defeat this mech with their gang, you know, Rex and everything, and even take control of the mech, basically becoming the new architect capable of warping endless Cloud Sea into endless flat ocean, restoring the universe, also translating to infinite speed, but can also be argued to be immeasurable via the 4th dimensional scaling. That's enough Xenoblade for a little while. There is potential for higher scaling, but less said about that now means more surprises for the future.
Oh, by the way, if one of you has the source for the statement saying Sansa equals architect in power, I'd appreciate it. Thanks.
For Dragon Quest's aptly named main character, there are actually 4 different skins in Smash that represent different characters. Instead of counting them all as separate, I'ma just be lazy and simply scale the main one in Ultimate, that being Dragon Quest XI's Luminary. Luminary is interesting, being able to fight and defeat Kalasmos, who defeated Yggdragon, the Digimon in charge of all life force in the universe, as well as killed Time Worm and End of Time, both that were capable of destroying all of the timeline, all that was, will be, and could be, which would actually imply its multiple timelines. More impressively, however, one of his higher techniques, Water Slash, is stated to cut through 4 dimensions, and all his endgame foes should be able to tank this 4th dimensional attack power. Luminary is also able to endure the terribly overflowing accents that everyone has in the dub of the Quest 11.
You beat me, even with the last secret of Angry-La in my side. Oh, I can't believe how much you've grown, laddie.
Then I assume that your need of the rainbow is not so great after all.
What are you doing, loitering by the docks, Eric?
Surely you didn't let your understudy take the stage for the command performance? Oh, this is too good!
For speed, Luminary is easily immeasurable, considering all the weird time feats in 11, and Time Worm and End of Time both logically need to reach through time to destroy it all. He also has pretty much every hacks on the face of this very gay earth, so pretty strong. I definitely underestimated him. Bayonetta is real downplayed powerhouse who's had few metas over the years. According to the first game's plot, Eyes of the World are these two MacGuffins that grant their holder control over the Trinity of realities, those being the regular universe and the realms of Paradiso and Inferno, that are noted to be 1,000 times larger than the regular universe. During the first game, Jubileus, the goddess of Paradiso, gains half of this power and immediately starts cranking out new universes till Bayonetta and her pal Janne utilize their power of demon summoning to call forth Queen Sheba, ruler of Inferno, whose power is measured not in gigatons but infinitons, and even compared to Big Bang, and they punch Jubileus' soul in the sun. In Bayo 2's final boss, the OG owner of the Eyes of the World returns, sort of as an asshole who gains one of the eyes back, as well as sovereign power stated to have nearly complete power of the original holder of the Eyes of the World, god by the name of Aesir, who had complete control over reality and destiny itself. This guy basically birthed not only free will, but also dualistic concepts like triumph, defeat, truth and falsehood by giving away his eyes. He is also stated to be fourth-dimensional being via being stated to view infinite possibilities, aka infinite timelines, from a dimension surpassing all that, which would default make it fourth-dimensional. And frankly, all the realms in Bayo might be infinite via this one statement, so. Bayo and her dad, Boulder, fight Aesir pretty evenly until Loki, the good half of Aesir's personality, weakens him by destroying the Eyes of the World, allowing Bayo and her dad to summon Omne, fusion of Sheba and Jubileus, to kick his ass, also confirming that by Bayo 2, Bayonetta is so much stronger that she can call Sheba on her own. As for speed, well, there are a lot of cool finite speed feats like Bayonetta reacting to an automobile that can cross Paradiso in a single day, but that's small beans, since Bayo can be scaled to high immeasurable speed by fighting Aesir, who with both eyes is capable of deciding all fate across infinite timelines, along with other statements saying that Aesir is just straight up beyond time and space. She herself has also casually jogged through time to reach the realm of Muspel, so really consistent. Bayonetta also has a lot of hacks scaling with this tier of power, too many to mention, but let's just say that her witch time can even slow down Aesir level opponents, as well as the development of Bayo 3.
Again, Kirby's the #1! You downplayed fuck! He can break planets with a single punch! A whole planet! He eats this whole list! You suck! I'ma report you for copyright!
Well, if I were you, my dear annoying voice, I'd be more delighted than anything, seeing as how Kirby is still among the top dogs in Smash. Anyway, Kirby is very strong boy, having pretty much every feat from planet busting to fighting universe busters, as well as being stated to have infinite power on several occasions, once by a game, once by super calculating computer, and even by the very developers, as well as Master Crown having similar lore. So, what business does he have this high? After all, previous two entries have already had fourth-dimensional power, which is infinitely higher than third-dimensional infinity. Well, it all comes back to Lord the Starcutter and Galactic Knight. In Planet Robobot and others, Lore is stated to travel to different places using extra-dimensional space-time routes. Extra-dimensional, of course, meaning plane that has one more dimension than last, which in this case would make it fourth-dimensional. These same paths are then shown to be destroyed by Kirby, DDD, Meta Knight, and Bandai D, defeating Magolor, as well as them being cut apart and manipulated to some extent by Galactic Knight, Meta Knight's constant whipping boy, which would make them 4D. Then Void, confirmed to be Kirby's strongest foe yet, who has his own wild statements and feats, is implied to be able to destroy all of creation, including another dimension, a realm which holds dozens if not hundreds of these fourth-dimensional roads. Maybe even infinite amount, considering how each portal there seems to lead to a new realm, which would make it 5D in total, albeit this is not proven. So, bare minimum, Kirby, DDD, and Meta Knight, who loosely scale to each other and can defeat mostly same foes, are bare minimum high fourth dimensional. For speed, Kirby has most insane finite speed scaling out of anyone on this list, with crossing galaxies and even universes with Warp Star and reacting to foes flying faster than it. But Kirby can also be proven to have high immeasurable speed. Another dimension is stated to be beyond space and time, and even farther enemies move there no problem. Magolor is stated to have roamed through multiple of these realms. There's feat of Kirby fighting and keeping up with Lore's fourth dimensional speed, not to mention his Smash ultimate feat, albeit we are not counting that here. So all in all, beefy boys, a lot of them. Our last DLC character was a positive surprise, until we all collectively realized that he was a sword-wielding anime character with a counter to a boot.
Know your fucking place, trash!
While I may not know everything about how characters in Kingdom Hearts compare to each other in the verse, I mean, the lore is confusing enough to make it hard to even understand what each character is even fucking made of, I'm still confident that Sora places this high on interverse scaling sense, because holy darkness does he have insane scaling. I could talk about multiple feats of characters warping or erasing worlds that are confirmed to be universes massively faster than light, metas for people reacting, things that fly faster than gummy ship, but instead I'm just gonna talk about the big one, the Kingdom Hearts itself. There are multiple statements of different worlds being infinite. Those worlds are contained by a wider multiverse that is endless, making it infinitely bigger, aka 4-dimensional. Then, according to Xehanort, Ansem and everybody, Kingdom Hearts of worlds and men are both infinite compared to anything below them. Which makes sense, because all worlds and hearts come from them, so that would make them both 5th-dimensional. The true Kingdom Hearts from the 3rd game is superior to both of those lesser Kingdom Hearts, and the axe blade Xehanort wields is the key controlling it. How does this relate to Sora and friends? Well, Guardians of Light, when combining their power, suppress Kingdom Hearts and stop it from nuking all of existence, and Sora even beats up the axe blade wielding Xehanort, almost 1v1. In addition, Sora's power of waking practically allows him to rewrite the fate of the whole cosmology by sacrificing himself. For speed, easily immeasurable, there are multiple statements for characters transcending time and space, etc. So, yikes. Who knew that a Disney anime could be so OP? Next thing you know, Donald will slam his penis into your favorite verse. But even this insane level of power is second to number 1.
Now it's Shulk time. I'm really feeling it. This is the Monado's power. Now it's Shulk time. I'm really feeling it. Let's go, everyone. I'm really feeling it. I can feel the power.
Yes, even after all these crazy powerful DLC characters, Xenoblade, excuse me, Xenoblade still reigns supreme. So, how can Monado Boy surpass 5th-dimensional power that rewrites all existence? Well, during the end parts of Xenoblade Chroniclesu, it is revealed that all that happened had been predetermined by passage of fate, which in this world controls everything to be as willed by Zanza, the computer nerd who created the universe, by updating his computer to Windows Vista 10. Our main character, due to Zanza's machinations of wanting to reborn in a new, sexy body, gained the power to see the future, aka strings of fate, and change them via his own actions, which allows him and his friends to defy the a-hole keeping the universe in perpetual cycle of death and rebirth, who wields 2 Monados, basically control sticks for all ether that make up all things material and immaterial, including fate, which controls everything in the verse, going from endless universe, which has infinite timeline, to infinite multiverse with infinite timelines, making the whole cosmology 6-dimensional, since passage of fate controls everything across all of and beyond time. This is naturally high immeasurable speed too, since memory space is beyond time, and fate transcends past, present, and future. So Shulk and pals manage to fight this guy in base, via Shulk wresting the control of fate from Zanza, till he gains his own anime power-up, the 3rd Monado, which allows him to slay the douchebag god. Afterwards, Shulk becomes even stronger by being granted all 3 of the Monados, taking Zanza's place as god that controls the passage of fate. He then uses this authority to give fate back to humans, birthing infinite new paths their future can now take, instead of a predeterministic one, recreating the universe so there will be no more gods that would control the fates of mortals, which includes his own godly powers. What a bloody legend.
Hold on, how is this anime character's control over the fate so much better than Aesir's Yaldabaoth's or power of waking ex machina? Don't those control fate too? You are biased!
Well, if you actually were listening just now, you would have noticed how Shulk's control over fate is on much higher scale. In essence, fate is concept relative to one's own verse, due to it being universe-defining mechanic. Xeno's fate determines everything on much higher level than any Smash franchise does. Now obviously this all can be argued to scale to Xenoblade 2 cast as well, via the conduit, but that's kinda up in the air. I plan to cover this topic and how powerful Shulk and the series are in general in a future episode of Power Scales that I'm currently working on. So mark your calendars. To whenever that will be. So, I guess that's that. Wow, what a journey Smash has been. Who knew after 64 that it would get this big? I mean, we have a fucking Steve in the game, and fucking Sora. It's awesome. And thus I conclude this video. I'd say this is a pretty decent power scale on all the Smash characters. What? What do you mean I forgot one? Shut the fuck up. I took few liberties here and there, like with Pokemon and Street Fighter, but otherwise, it's pretty fair. Well, I'm reading the script now and thinking that it needs more epic gamer roasts, but that's about all I could add currently. You know, back when I made my first video scaling Smash characters, I was pretty sure I had hit the jackpot and it was completely accurate. If not by the feats, then by order of characters. But hey, just goes to show you that we are all fallible and still learning. Likewise, I'm not expecting this video to be perfect either, and like I said, I'm open for discussions on the matter. So by all means, leave your comments down below if you agree or disagree with something, or maybe you have feats or other stuff I don't know about, and we can talk about that. Anyways, that's the video. Be sure to like, subscribe, and turn on the notifications if you are a subscriber. And like the million other safety precautions people need nowadays, so they don't lose the content creators they follow. Yeah, please do that. As for what comes next from the channel, next real power scale will be on Xenoblade and Xeno series, but it will be a while before I get there. I think it's better that I take a break from Fate-related content again. I'll literally die if I do more Nasuverse research, because I always get stuck on looking at funny memes for hours, wasting my life away. That being said, stay tuned for more non-topical random videos. Thank you for watching. I'm Mario90, keep celebrating Smash. Bye bye.